So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a thought that I had recently, which I haven't really heard anyone talk about. The idea is that in today's dating world, it's actually easier for a man to steal a woman from another man than to find a single girl to date. And I thought this was really interesting. I hadn't heard anyone talk about this before, and I wrote down some dot points because it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. So firstly, I don't really condone this kind of behavior. I think it's really, if you're a guy that you go around and you knowingly hook up with women who have boyfriends, I think that you deserve a punishment of some kind, whether it's through the law or by the guy taking matters into his own hands. Not to say that if you're unaware of it, then that's a completely different thing. I also want to say not all women fit into this category, but an increasing percentage do. And also that many older generations, such as baby boomers, probably think that I'm a crazy person for talking about this, but they're actually so far detached from the modern dating world that it's basically like their parents commenting on mating patterns in the Stone Age. The changes that have occurred in the last couple of generations is absolutely unprecedented, and it makes what they had to go through just absolutely worlds apart. So basically, I'll start with when a woman is in a relationship with a man, especially if it's a long-term relationship, she's going to be criticizing her partner's every move. If he breathes wrong, then she's going to start, nagging him or something, essentially. If he doesn't take out the trash perfectly on time, he's going to get hassled for that. Basically, the criticisms come from a place of hostility, a lack of appreciation. And, I believe that on some level, that one of the main differences between men and women generally is that if you put a man in like a perfect environment, he'll probably just chill and be happy. But if you put a woman in a perfect environment, she's going to be complaining that the color of the wall isn't nice and she want to change the color of the wall. And then she's going to want to change the handles on the cupboards, and then she's going to want to change the color of the wall back. She changed her mind. There's always just going to be something externally to avoid them from internally introspecting. And I think that the culture that we've created today amplifies that difference. So be it. So when a woman is in a long-term relationship, she's criticizing her partner's every move. She's bored, probably, because, it's probably stable. She's not getting left on red. For some reason, women get off on that. A lot of the times these days, generally unsatisfied. And, if they have unattractive friends, they don't have to be unattractive, but generally it applies more if they are unattractive. If they have unattractive friends, her friends will sabotage the relationship, or at least try to, and tell her that she deserves better. A lot of women also, especially the narcissists, will get sadistic pleasure from hurting their current boyfriends. So a lot of times that's what nagging is. They just constantly want the man to not feel happy. It's not about, taking the trash out at the correct time. It's about just creating conflict and not wanting the man to be at peace, because if the man's at peace, then, for some reason, a lot of women find that unsettling themselves. Women can also view hurting their current boyfriends as a form of catharsis, because of all the chads that they've dated, that have played games with them. They think that by doing this to a guy is some kind of karmic duty that they've been assigned to, depending on whether they're Pisces or, So that's another thing to keep in mind. Today, the single woman has hundreds, if not thousands, of options. So a woman that is in a relationship only really has one man on the go, and she's probably talking to a handful of backups on the side discreetly. But the single woman actually has hundreds of guys in her DMs, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, dating apps, basically an entire queue of beta males and simps that wouldn't have had the confidence to approach her 10 or 15 years ago in real life, but are now absolutely, just constantly giving women attention and validation. So basically, women see men on dating apps as beta. Like if you're meeting girls on a dating app, they're likely going to put you into the category of just another cuck in the queue. That's really all you are. Like if you're talking to a girl and she's on a dating app and she says she wants to eventually meet you, but right now she's dating some other guy, block her immediately, because, that's so disrespectful to yourself to be so, oh, wait till it's my turn. It's very pathetic that guys put up with a lot of this stuff. Also on that note, if you aren't using a dating app and you do meet a girl in the real life, or you try to, a lot of girls think that cold approach means that you're a player and that you just want to use them for their bodies. They just, for some reason, they put you into that category these days because of the social norms and everything associated with it after the M2 movement and whatnot. And they also think that, if you do it in person, it's a little bit cheesy, because it is. It feels forced a lot of the time, especially if you have zero or negative riz like myself. It's just, it doesn't come out naturally, especially because there's so many little rules and things like that where you're going to be making yourself look a fool a lot of the time. So that's also to consider. But this is negated if the woman is actually with her boyfriend or her partner, whether it's a husband or whatever. Because if you hit on a woman in front of her boyfriend, she'll likely think that you're being dominant and assertive. She'll ignore the narcissism and psychopathy of your actions, and basically enjoy the moment. Now, when you do this, if you do, again, I'm not recommending it, but she'll consider she'll be hyper vigilant of her current man's reaction. So basically, if the man remains calm and isn't really fazed by it, she'll just view that as submissive beta male behavior a lot of the time. Like, oh, he's not getting jealous. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have, if the man starts to get angry and verbally aggressive, she'll just see it as controlling beta behavior. Unfortunately, I think that the only way to maintain a woman's attraction to you in this situation, depending on how persistent the man is being, is basically to be violent, as that would likely arouse the woman and show that she has a large amount of emotional control over you. Again, I'm not condoning this. But yeah, a lot of women like hyper-masculine men that are really socially quite stupid and can easily be manipulated. That's probably their primary thing. So it's like, if you're a masculine man and you're hard to manipulate, they will like the chase of trying to manipulate you, but it will all just be about the chase. So they like it when men behave violently towards other men in this situation because it makes them feel safe. And the fact that you could be beaten to death or sent to prison is indeed, in a lot of these narcissistic women's minds, secondary to their feelings. The excitement of the situation, her getting validation, you proving yourself in a test of life, I guess. All of that is secondary. So a lot of the time, and again, like I said, a lot of women, if you do something violent, will see you as like a controlling freak as well. So I'm not saying this is one size fits all. So a lot of this is based on the fact that we live in a non-violent society. Men who have more to lose and have more stability will actually refrain from violence a lot more. It's like the bad boys, the drug dealers, they're always looking to do something violent, because that's what gives them their identity, their status, and that's what makes women attracted to them. On top of being in a non-violent society, if a woman does choose to just blatantly cheat on a man, and she's married, for instance, there's no social repercussions. She'll just be entitled to gaining access to his resources. And that's just the world we live in. In my opinion, if you're in a relationship, in a marriage, and there's infidelity, you should not be getting jack shit of the other person's resources, and you should probably be doing some kind of punishment like prison. Not necessarily a long time, but maybe a month for every root. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. That's just my thoughts. I thought it was interesting. I thought I'd share it. I don't know if it brought anything new to your minds, but I thought it was interesting because basically it's revealing that single women today are actually less single than the women who are in relationships with men, because instead of having one man and a few side options, they have hundreds and thousands of simps in their cuckoos that will be willing to put up with all of their nonsense. And a lot of this stems from the fact that most men on dating apps would not have the confidence to approach women in real life. And so there's a lot more competition from the simps than there was like 10 or 15 years ago. So, and it's just devalued kindness. So it's like if you 10, 15 years ago, you meet a girl and things go well and you try and treat her well, it was actually appreciated. But when they have hundreds and thousands of simps saying good morning beautiful every 10 minutes and all that kind of crap, when they don't even know the woman, they've never met them, it devalues genuine kindness as well. So yeah, leave your comments below. I thought it was interesting. I hope it got you thinking.